Welcome back from the ad break, and let's continue with our lesson on integers. So looking at the concept map again, we are now going to focus on the first section of our lesson, and that is calculations with integers. We're first going to start with comparing integers. So for the following numbers, look at the following numbers and fill out those symbols there. So the first one, we have a 5 and a 3. So we need to fill out whether it's smaller than, greater than, or equals to. So we know that according to our number line, numbers on the right are bigger and numbers on the left are smaller. So this means that 5 is bigger than 3. I hope you got that correct. Look at the next set of numbers. We have a negative 16 and a 5. Now think of the number line. Which number is on the left and which one is on the right? You are correct. The 5 is on the right. So we are going to say that negative 16 is smaller than 5, or 5 is bigger than negative 16. Then we look at the next set of numbers. We have a negative 16 with a negative 165. Which one is on the left and which one is on the right? That's how you're going to see which one is smaller and which one is bigger. Yes, this means that negative 16 is actually bigger or greater than negative 165. Now we are looking at 0 and negative 4. Which one is bigger and which one is smaller? If you are saying that 0 is the bigger one, then you are absolutely correct, because on the number line, 0 is on the right side of negative 4. Then we look at the next one, which is 1 and 8 divided by 8. Now, do you remember the properties of 1? We know that the number divided by itself, except for 0, will always give us 1. So this actually means that these two values are equal. 1 is equal to 8 divided by 8. Let's move on to the addition of positive numbers. So when we add numbers that are both positive, then the answer will be positive. For an example there, we have a positive 7 plus a positive 3, and that is going to give us a positive 10. So let's calculate the following numbers. We have there 5 plus 3, and this is of course a positive 5 plus a positive 3, and the answer there is going to be an 8. And this of course does not matter if we swap them around, because remember, addition is commutative. So 3 plus 5, because they are both positive, our answer is still going to be a positive 8. Then we have 16 plus 4. The 16 is positive, the 4 is positive, our answer is going to be a positive 20. And then we have a positive 4 plus a positive 16, our answer is still going to be a positive 20. Let's go on to the addition of negative numbers. Now, when we add numbers that are both negative, the answer will be negative. For example, if I have a negative 4 plus a negative 1, the answer is going to be a negative 5. So because they are both negative, then the answer is going to be negative. Let's calculate the following. We have there a negative 5 plus a negative 3. So again, we know our answer is going to be negative, and then we are just going to add those natural numbers, which is going to give me a negative 8 as the answer. Then we have a negative 3 plus a negative 5. Again, both of them are negative, so my answer is going to be negative, and my answer there is a negative 8. We have a negative 4 plus a negative 16. Both of them are negative, so my answer is going to be negative, and I just add those two natural numbers, which is going to be 20. My final answer is negative 20. And of course, we are still dealing with addition. Addition is commutative. The order does not matter. So a negative 16 plus a negative 4 will still give me a negative 20. What about addition of positive numbers and negative numbers? When we add numbers that have different signs, that is one positive and one negative, we will subtract the natural numbers and the sign of the answer will be the same as that of the integer that is furthest away from 0. So I've got the number line there just to remind us which number will be furthest away from 0. We have an example there of 7 plus a negative 3. Now 1 is positive and 1 is negative. What are we going to do? Firstly, we are going to figure out which one is furthest from 0. So between negative 3 and a positive 7, which is all the way that side of our number line, which one is furthest? It is the 7. And because the 7 is positive, then we are going to take a positive there. Then I'm just going to subtract those natural numbers. So I'm going to say 7 minus 3, which gives us a 4, and our answer is going to be positive because of us taking the sign of the one that is furthest away from 0. The same with the second example. I have a negative 7 plus a positive 3. Our answer is going to take the sign of the one that is furthest from the 0, and that is why our answer there is a negative 4. So let's look at the following examples. We have a positive 5 plus a negative 3. Which one is furthest away from the 0? That is the 5. That means my answer is going to be positive. And then we just subtract those numbers. 5 minus 3 is a 2. And my answer is a positive 2. We have a negative 5 plus 3. Which one is furthest away? It is the negative 5. That means my answer is going to be negative. And then we just say 5 minus 3. That is going to give me a 2. The same there with a positive 4 plus a negative 16. Which one is furthest away? That is going to be the negative. So my answer is going to be negative, and I'm just going to say 16 minus 4, and that is going to give me 12. So my answer is going to be a negative 12. And then we take a negative 4 plus a positive 16. Because 16 is the one that is furthest away from the 0, then we are going to take the positive as our answer. And when I say 16 minus 4, that is just going to give me a positive 12. Let's move on to subtraction of positive numbers. So when we subtract a smaller number from a larger number, the answer will be positive. When we subtract a larger number from a smaller number, then the answer is going to be negative. An example of this is if I have 7 minus 3, I am subtracting a smaller number. So the answer will be positive, and that is 4. But if I say 3 minus 7, now I'm subtracting a larger number. So my answer will be negative. Let's look at the following examples. I have 5 minus 3. The one that I am subtracting is smaller. So my answer is going to be positive, and that is going to be a positive 2. When I say 3 minus 5, the one that I'm subtracting is larger. So my answer is going to be negative, and that answer is going to be a negative 2. The same is for 16 minus 4. 4 is the smaller one. So my answer is going to be positive, and that's going to be a positive 12. And then if we say 4 minus 16, because I am subtracting a larger number, then my answer is going to be negative, and that is going to be a negative 12 as my final answer. So what about when we are subtracting negative numbers? Let's see. When we subtract a small number from a larger number, the answer will be positive. And when we subtract a larger number from a smaller number, then the answer will be negative. As an example there, we have a negative 7 minus a negative 3. Now, because negative 3 is larger than negative 7, then it means that our answer is going to be negative. Let's look at a few examples. We have there negative 5 minus negative 3. Negative 3 is larger, so that means that our answer is going to be negative. So when we say negative 5 minus negative 3, then my answer is going to be there a negative 2. The next example is negative 3 minus negative 5. Now negative 5 is smaller than negative 3. That means our answer is going to be a positive number, and our answer there is a positive 2. So now we have a negative 4 minus a negative 16. Now because negative 16 is smaller then negative 4, that means that our answer is going to be a positive 1. So negative 4 minus negative 16 is going to give us a positive 12. And the last one is negative 16 minus negative 4. Negative 4 is bigger than negative 16. So that means that our answer is actually going to be a negative, and the final answer there is a negative 12. So let's see when we have a subtraction of a positive number and negative number. So when we subtract a positive number or a negative number, it is the same as adding its additive inverse. For example, if I have 7 minus negative 3, so because we are subtracting, we can see there the additive inverse of negative 3 is 3. So it will be the same as adding that 3. So that will be 7 plus 3, and the answer there is 10. The same is when we have a negative 7 minus a 3. So we are subtracting a 3. And the additive inverse of 3 is a negative 3. So it will be the same as adding that negative 3. So negative 7 plus negative 3, that will give us a negative 10. Let's look at these examples. I have here 5 minus negative 3. The additive inverse of negative 3 is a positive 3. So 5 plus 3 is 8. Then we have a negative 5 minus a 3. And the additive inverse of a positive 3 is a negative 3. So if I say negative 5 plus negative 3, that will give me a negative 8. Then we have 16 minus a negative 4. The additive inverse of negative 4 is a positive 4. So 16 plus 4 is a positive 20. And lastly, we have negative 16 minus 4. And because the additive inverse of a positive 4 there is a negative 4, when we say negative 16 plus negative 4, that is going to give us a negative 20. So let's quickly go to an ad break, and then we will see you just now.